The Kythera had studied human settlements for 3 cycles before making their move. Their intelligence reports painted a picture of soft, emotional creatures who formed inexplicable attachments to their offspring and lived in fragile dwellings scattered across planetary surfaces, perfect prey for their terror raids. Commander SciFi flexed his razor-sharp talons as he reviewed the mission parameters one final time. The human colony of New Eden housed approximately 12,000 inhabitants, including a significant population of juveniles. Standard Kythera doctrine called for systematic psychological warfare, capture the young, broadcast their distress signals, and watch the adults crumble under emotional duress before moving in for the final harvest. Target acquired, his pilot announced as their stealth craft descended through New Eden's atmosphere. Settlement appears minimally defended, scanning, detecting only basic perimeter sensors and what appears to be a single-armed human at the northern checkpoint. SciFi's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The humans were even more pathetic than anticipated. The first phase went exactly according to plan. Kythera shock troops materialized from their cloaked positions around the settlement's educational facility, their bioluminescent threat displays casting eerie patterns across the building's walls. Young humans scattered in terror, their high-pitched distress calls echoing exactly as the psychological profiles had predicted. Within minutes, they had secured 17 juveniles in the facility's main chamber. The creatures huddled together, their primitive fear responses triggering the release of stress pheromones that the Kythera could taste in the air. Perfect. Initiate broadcast protocol, SciFi commanded. Let their guardians hear what awaits their spawn. But as the transmission began, something unexpected happened at the facility's entrance. The doors didn't burst open with panicked adult humans as anticipated. Instead, they opened quietly, and a single figure stepped through. The human was unremarkable by galactic standards, average height, lean build, wearing simple civilian clothing. But SciFi noticed 2 things that didn't match their intelligence reports. In the human's left hand was what appeared to be a small, soft effigy of some earth creature, worn and patched as if it had seen considerable use. In his right hand was a projectile weapon that, while primitive by galactic standards, was held with the easy familiarity of someone who understood its capabilities intimately. "I'm Sergeant Marcus Chen," the human announced, his voice carrying clearly across the chamber. "I've come for the children," the nearest Kythera warrior hissed, bioluminescent patches flaring bright amber in threat display. "Foolish creature. You face the Kythera. We have taken your spawn." Witness their terror. Marcus looked at the huddled children, his expression softening momentarily. He held up the stuffed toy, a small bear, SciFi realized, and one of the human juveniles, a female with bright yellow head fur, looked up with recognition. "Hey there, Emma," Marcus said gently. "Remember what we talked about during the drills? When the scary things come, what do? We stay brave and wait for the grown-ups," the child whispered. "That's right. And what did I promise you? That you'd always come get us." Her voice grew stronger. "And that Mr. Bear would keep us safe until you did." Marcus nodded and tossed the stuffed bear gently to her. As she clutched it to her chest, the other children seemed to draw courage from her example, their fear scent diminishing noticeably. "Enough," SciFi roared, extending his full threat display. "You are outnumbered 20-1. Surrender or watch your young suffer." Marcus looked around the room, taking inventory of the Kythera positions with tactical precision. 20-1, he mused. "You know, in the old wars back on Earth, we had a saying about those odds." He raised his rifle with fluid motion. "It means you didn't bring enough friends." What happened next would be analyzed in military academies across 3 sectors for decades to come. Marcus Chen moved like liquid death through the Kythera formation. His primitive projectile weapon spoke with sharp, precise authority, each shot finding gaps in bioarmor with surgical accuracy. But it wasn't just his marksmanship that stunned the alien warriors. It was his tactical awareness, his ability to use their own positioning against them, turning their numerical advantage into a liability in the confined space. When the first warrior fell, the others realized their prey had become a predator. When the 5th fell, they understood they faced something their intelligence reports had never prepared them for. When the 10th died, they knew terror for the first time in their species' history. Marcus flowed between cover positions like smoke, using overturned furniture and structural pillars to break up their attempted coordinated attacks. His rifle sang its deadly song, and Kithra warriors discovered that their fearsome reputation meant nothing to someone who had learned warfare in the crucible of human conflict. Impossible, Zexthai breathed as Marcus eliminated his elite guards with contemptuous ease. The report said humans were emotional, soft, easily broken by threats to their spawn. Oh, we are emotional, Marcus agreed, pausing to reload with practiced efficiency. But you made one critical error in your intelligence gathering. He snapped the rifle's action closed with a metallic click that somehow sounded more menacing than any Kithra threat display. You assumed that made us weak. The last 5 warriors attempted a coordinated charge. Marcus dropped to one knee, steadied his breathing, and demonstrated why human snipers were whispered about in fearful tones across the galactic rim. 5 shots, 5 kills, surgical precision born from a species that had spent millennia perfecting the art of killing their own kind before turning their attention to the stars. When the shooting stopped, only Zexthai remained, his bioluminescent patches flickering between fear colors he had never displayed before. What are you?" he whispered. Marcus walked over to Emma, who still clutched the stuffed bear to her chest. He knelt down, checking to ensure she was unharmed before looking back at the alien commander. "I'm what happens when you threaten our children," Marcus said simply. "We bring our favorite things to remind us what we're fighting for." He gestured to the bear. "And we bring our rifles to make sure we can keep fighting for them." As Cathara reinforcements arrived to find their strike team eliminated and their commander catatonic with shock, word spread quickly through the galactic communication networks. The species that had built an empire on fear and terror had encountered something that refused to be terrorized. The message was clear. Humans didn't just protect their young with love and sacrifice. They protected them with lullabies sung over the corpses of their enemies, with teddy bears soaked in the blood of those who would dare threaten their children. The Kithra never raided human settlements again, and in toy stores across human space, stuffed animals began selling out as parents everywhere remembered that sometimes the most important weapon in the galaxy was something soft enough to comfort a child, and someone hard enough to ensure they never needed comforting again. Emma Chen still had that bear when she graduated from the Galactic Defense Academy 20 years later, where she wrote her thesis on asymmetric warfare tactics. She understood better than most that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their numbers. It was that they brought both love and violence to every fight, and never apologized for either.